There is a hell of a lot of stuff going on pre-order next weekend, but I will tell you now, I'm very, very intrigued to find out what some of the pricing is going to be tomorrow, specifically for Warcry Red Harvest. Now, I'm going to be talking specifically about Warcry Red Harvest for quite a chunk of this video. So if you're just interested in my opinion of all the other stuff that's coming out, of which there is a lot, just skip ahead a couple of minutes. Now, Warcry Red Harvest, for me, is a much different animal to what Warcry Catacombs was when it was released around about a year ago. Now, Warcry Catacombs, don't forget, was criticised over the cost of that box. It was £125. And at the time, I wasn't too worried about it, but since all that time since it came out, I had plenty of time to reflect on that and thought, actually, yeah, it's not a great price for that box for what you get. Now, what makes me really excited about Red Harvest is that this is a proper full release. So we have got everything you would expect from the initial launch box of Warcry, barring that core rulebook. So we have got the battle plan cards, which was sorely missed from Catacombs. That was one big error there, as far as I was concerned. You had a new system for playing in the Catacombs and all that kind of stuff, but you didn't back it up with any battle plan cards and that kind of thing. Those are back here. Now, I don't know if they're going to be different from the original ones. I'm assuming they are to reflect the new terrain, which I'll say again, the new terrain is abundant. There's a lot of it. Not only that, we get our tokens and our other sort of cards for the warbands and that kind of stuff. Dice. It's a full release. It's really, really good stuff. But what I find very, very, very interesting is that yesterday they announced that Warcry Catacombs, again, that's been out for a year, has been released by Games Workshop, available at an exclusive price on their web store at a heavily discounted rate. So if you want to pick up Warcry Catacombs, you go onto the Games Workshop website. In the UK, it is £87.50. Now, to give some context to that, I know that sometimes they offer other discounts and that kind of thing, and they're generally not that great. So that makes me think that this Warcry Catacombs box must be in abundant supply. That is sitting on their shelves and it's not making them any money. So £87.50. To give a little bit of credence to that as well, if you think about other discounted companies that sell Warhammer products, the highest discounts I see generally is 25%. And 25% off of retail is about 94 quid for that product. To see that at £87.50, I was very, very surprised. Now, having said all of that, it still doesn't say that it's a last chance to buy or if it's while stocks last or anything like that. So it looks though, at least for now, until they say something else, that Warcry Catacombs is going to continue to be available for some time. Now, that might just be the reason for that is that there's just so much stock of it, which wouldn't surprise me. But what does surprise me is that the Age of Sigmar Dominion box, which is an excellent box, really truly is also available at that price. So really very surprising. So it's well worth going and having a look on the Games Workshop website at some of those discounts. Now, these two really, for me, are the biggest kind of savers and that kind of thing. But, you know, it's well worth looking over there and seeing if there's something else you would like. Right, so back to Warcry Red Harvest. So it's interesting to see what's going to happen with pricing here, because if something like Catacombs, because they've put it on at that fantastic price and it hasn't, you know, gone out of stock or anything like that, that's telling me that potentially they know that they've made a mistake with that product and they priced it too high, and as a result they've ended up with a lot of excess stock. Now, having said that, I'm expecting Warcry to be one of their kind of weekend order promises. So it might be a small amount of stock on the front end, but then on the back end having a reprint available, so you'll get it by the end of the year or something like that. But obviously they will just quite likely at the end of that reprint just delist the product. So it'd be really, really interesting to see what happens with it. But certainly, as much as kind of a bit of bad press for Games Workshop has dominated this channel quite recently, and it's all to do with pricing. It's all 100% to do with pricing, unfortunately. So hopefully tomorrow we'll get some sort of opportunity to offer a bit of redemption to GW. So I've got my fingers crossed for a sub £100 price for that box, RRP, meaning that we can pick it up for a better price from Element Games and the likes. Now, I'll be covering more Warcry stuff throughout the week as we get more information, because this expansion has really piqued my interest. But now we're going to move on to Warhammer 40k. Now, there's no actual models coming out or anything like that, but we do have some supporting materials. So we've got, in the Octarius campaign, the follow-up to Book 1, The Rising Tide. So now we have Critical Mass, Book 2. So that is coming along. And to go along with it, we have got another Crusade mission pack. So that mission pack is called Catastrophe. So both of those are going on sale next weekend. Now, to support those books, there's actually another set of dice as well. A bit of a weird one. It's got the Inquisitorial Rosette and a Xenos skull at the centre of the 6th face. So yeah, weird, but that is what we've got. Okay, the last 40k related product is issue 3 of the Marvel Sisters of Battle is going to be out. There's also an exclusive cover that's only going to be available on the GW website. Just before we move on to the rest of the content, just a very quick minute to say I've noticed that roughly 5% of my views come from subscribers. So if you do watch this content and you enjoy it, please consider hitting that subscribe button and following along with me. Also, for anyone who uses Element Games in the UK, the best way you can support this channel is by using the link in the description. Now, that doesn't give anything to you, you just pay the same prices, but I get a small kickback if you use it. One way I can benefit you is if when you're checking out, you put in this code 4539, that will double your element crystals. So you'll get double your normal rewards from Element Games just by using that code at the checkout. Anyway, let's get back on with the content. So no new models or anything like that, but plenty of stuff for 40k anyway. Now, let's move on to Necromunda, where there's a fair amount of stuff coming out next week, and all of it looks pretty cool. And this week in the Underhive, it's all about Clan Kodor. So we've got a pretty big upgrade sprue that's available for them. Plenty of stuff on there. Looks very cool. The alternate heads look really nice as well. Fans of Mad Max 3 Beyond Thunderdome rejoice, because we've got Master Blaster here, otherwise known as the Stig Shambler. So this guy comes with, he's got either a twin-linked heavy stubber or a heavy flamer, and looks suitably awesome. Next up, have some faith. So we've got Clovis the Redeemer. So he's coming along as well, and he looks suitably crazy. He's also got Deacon Malakav with him. And then finally, for Necromunda, the last option we've got is that we have some birds, the Sheen birds. Now, they look all right. It's quite surprising, actually. I've been doing these videos for a while, going through new products and that kind of thing. And it's probably a rare occasion where we've got Necromunda stuff coming out that hasn't got books and cards and dice to go along with it. So we are all just about the gameplay, the core gameplay here. So that is very cool. But that wraps up the content for Necromunda this week. Moving on, we've got a particularly large amount of Blood Bowl stuff for one particular team, namely the Skull Tribe Slaughterers. So this is the new Khorne side. They look absolutely terrific. Really cool stuff. I'll certainly be picking these up, but they don't come alone. Now, to add some variety into the look and feel of your Khorne Blood Bowl team, we've got the Forge World Khorne Team Booster Pack. So this has got alternative sculpts for Bloodborne Marauder linemen and 2 alternative Khorne Gores. So that fills that out nicely. But we have got a couple of Khornate star players as well who look absolutely brilliant. So on the left, we've got Max Spleen Ripper, who has obviously got a chainsaw with him. And on the right, we've got Scylla Alfengrim. I'm saying Scylla. I'm sure it's not going to be Skylar. Who knows? But yeah, it looks like Scylla Alfengrim. However, if Alfengrim didn't look horrible enough, we've got a Khorne Bloodspawn you can also chuck into your side. Obviously, all of these are Forge World. Now that leads us into the inevitable new Spike release, which is going to be going on to support all of these new items. So we've got a new team, we've got a new Spike. So what does that mean? We've got some new expensive cardboard as well. So not only do we get the standard new Corn Pitch, but we also get the new team card pack and obviously some new dice as well. Now, I'll mention it again. Tomorrow I'll be going through all of the individual pricing for the stuff that's going to be available to retailers. If it's a GW web exclusive, then there will be no retailer price for it. But anyway, I'll be going through that lot tomorrow morning. Okay, so let's quickly catch up now with what is coming out for Black Library next week. So we've got 3 new editions. So we've got a few different versions of The Wolf Time. This excellent looking special edition. And then obviously we have a audiobook version, the digital version and the standard version. So that is the next book in the Dawn of Fire series. And then we've got the amazingly expensive, or I assume it will be, the brand new Black Library Advent Calendar. So this gives us some excellent art from the books that have gone on over the last year or so. But yes, that is going on pre-order next weekend as well. And then we're going to finish up now with Warhammer Plus. Now, I haven't actually watched any Warhammer Plus content for the last couple of weeks, but I do intend to catch up with all of it. So let's see what we've got in store for this Wednesday. So battle report wise, we've got the Craft Worlds versus Drukhari. Then in the painting masterclass, we've got varied skin tones. I'm assuming that's coming along now because we are now in Black History Month. So it'll be interesting to see what they've got on over there. And as I say quite regularly, the painting masterclass videos for me are the highlight of Warhammer Plus. I'm really, really enjoying those videos. I think they're well presented and they're very well executed. Now, I know that very, very similar stuff is available across YouTube, very, very widely available, but I still think that is really, truly brilliant content. Next up in the Warhammer Vault, we have Warzone Damocles, which, to be fair, I haven't really read up on any of that content, but I will certainly be checking that out, I think. I just don't have a good way of accessing that information. I don't like the way I read it on either a screen or on my phone or anything like that. So, but I will forge ahead with that. Perhaps I'll give a bit of recap to that. If I can find some good ways to absorb that content, I'll come back to you. I'm assuming it's going to be great for an iPad and that kind of thing, which I don't have. And then finally for Warhammer Plus, we have Chapter 6 of Angels of Darkness, Against the Horde. So that wraps it up. So Angels of Darkness is coming back, but that wraps up this week's content for Warhammer Plus. So that's it for this week. So back tomorrow with the pricing. That is a lot of stuff. That is a lot of very, very cool stuff. So for me, obviously the highlight is Warcry Red Harvest. And I'll certainly be back throughout the week to kind of fill in more gaps on that, look at some of the articles as they come out. Certainly the thing that's most interesting to me is those new battle plan cards. And I'm really hoping that A, they are going to be completely different to the ones we've already got. And B, I'm hoping that plenty of them are going to be interchangeable to use with the content we already have. So fingers crossed for that. Now, fans of the channel from old, this week I'm going to be bringing back some Mythic Battles Pantheon content. So for those of you who don't know, the real origins of this channel started with Mythic Battles Pantheon. The very first video I ever did was an unboxing for that game. So fans of that game, I will be back with more content this week, particularly because we've now got 2 months to run in the Pledge Manager for Mythic Battles Ragnarok. So what I'll be doing is I'll be doing a bit of a buyer's guide for the Pantheon stuff because I know it very well, and then we'll be revisiting some of that Ragnarok stuff also, as well as putting in a few unlikely but very cool hobby projects for the game, so creating boats for the aquatic battles and that kind of thing. So very much looking forward to that, but I will leave it there, guys. Thank you so much for watching, much appreciated as usual. Anyone who can use those affiliate links that are down in the description, they are greatly appreciated. But if you cannot or you don't want to, that is perfect as well. Thanks very much. Have a great week. See you tomorrow.